Hi, everybody. Welcome to my YouTube channel, Politics with Sherry Jacobus. Thank you for subscribing. And if you're not a subscriber yet, I hope you'll help us out and hit that subscribe button if you like what you see and hear. So Trump is now escalating his calls for violence. He is stepping things up. I think he's feeling his oats now after getting credit for the Middle East peace deal. Now, again, that was something that the Biden administration had already put that forward, and Netanyahu decided not to move forward with it, to stall it, so that Joe Biden would not get credit and Kamala Harris would not get credit. He cut a deal with Trump so that Trump would get credit. This is eerily similar to what we now know Ronald Reagan did when Jimmy Carter was the outgoing president. There were the hostages in Iran, and it was Reagan who, I guess, they negotiated to hold off releasing the hostages to just when he was getting sworn in. And that way he'd be, the hero. And so we find out that he really kind of screwed over Jimmy Carter on that one. So it happens. The problem is when the electorate doesn't believe it when we're told these things, or we kind of can figure them out. So MAGA won't believe this. MAGA will probably never hear it because Fox News certainly isn't going to report it. But that's what happened. The problem is, how many people needlessly died because Netanyahu was doing this big political favor for Donald Trump. Neither of these monsters care, as we know. But this is the era of monsters. Trump, Netanyahu, Putin. This is the world we're living in now. And I keep encouraging, as many of us do, the Democratic leadership, the Democrats, to fight harder. And we get very excited when they have any kind of movement. It's not enough. It's not enough. So Trump is feeling his oats right now. He was demanding the Peace Prize, and he'll demand it next year for this, but he shouldn't get it. And they should never give it to somebody who's using our military against American citizens. Trump has now had a press conference and announced that San Francisco is his next target. He's going to go in with federal troops, and he's making up all these things. He is convincing MAGA, or maybe he just needs this to lay his own groundwork, that there's all these, domestic terrorists and everything. No, there's no such thing as Antifa. There's no headquarters. We have peaceful protesters. Trump is making this up. He's doing this because he doesn't want to admit that he just likes taking his Gestapo and using them just to anybody who criticizes him or opposes him. So he's now labeling people who criticize him or oppose him or protest against him, which in the United States of America, we do. We always have until Trump. He is now threatening violence against anybody who opposes him or is peacefully protesting. We know that he's got people planted to try and incite this violence and get people going, and so he can blame it on Antifa, blame it on Democrats. He actually has his cabinet out there comparing Democrats to Hamas. This is insane. And he wouldn't be doing it if he wasn't real confident that he's got Fox News and Republicans and MAGA all enough in tow where anybody's afraid to speak up against him, even when things get this ridiculous, this dangerous. I guarantee you, even Sean Hannity knows what a catastrophic danger Trump is to America. But he's so deep in that he knows that he'd pay a price if he decided to do the right thing. But Sean has done the wrong thing for so long. Don't hold your breath. Don't hold your breath. But these people will have blood on their hands. They already do. They already do. I wonder if they'll join Trump when he openly now says, "Oh, I don't think I'm getting to heaven." It's like, no, you know what, Sherlock? No, you're not. And neither will these other people that know what he's doing is immoral, grotesque, brutal, inhumane, murderous. They don't care. It's now about getting away with it. But they do have to look in the mirror every morning. They just don't care. I don't think even a lot of Democrats are ready to admit the trouble that we're in and how bad it is. We know our leadership isn't. They want to save their jobs. Now, I do see a bright spot, and I always tell you that, we're going to praise the good stuff Democrats do and show the bright spots. A group of Democratic lawmakers marched over to, Speaker Johnson's office to demand that he swear in the newly elected Democrat from Arizona. And the reason, of course, that he's not doing it is because she would be the vote needed to vote for release of the Epstein files. And this whole government shutdown is about protecting Trump. I think that he needed this peace deal and bringing home the hostages, even though Joe Biden brought home a lot more. Trump needs this to pump him up because he's thinking that if and when the Epstein files come out and it shows what he's done, he's thinking that this will save him, that this is his leverage. And, he might be right. Just check in with your MAGA friends in your hometown or Facebook, especially the ones with the bigger the crucifix, the bigger the fraud, the fake Christians. And I think that they have to somehow espouse very loudly their so-called Christianity because they know that their support for Trump is a support for genocide and murder and trashing the Constitution, breaking the law. He's a rapist. He's a criminal. He's a con man. He's a fraud. They know this. And now he wants our military to be used against American citizens. I believe that he cannot wait to have them shoot an American citizen for opposing him, for protesting him. And yes, they are setting it up. They are rigging this. We know this just by his rhetoric. So he's going to take federal troops into San Francisco and they want to kill people. Trump wants bloodshed. We know this. There should be no doubt in anyone's mind. He wants this. He wants violence. When you hear what's coming out of Kristi Noem's mouth and Kash Patel and Carolyn Levitt and Pam Bondi and J.D. Vance and Donald Trump, and compare it to Hitler and Goebbels, and I forgot to mention Stephen Miller, compare it to the very same rhetoric surrounding Hitler, and there's no difference. And that's not hyperbole. That's not hyperbole. We've also noted a stark, even worse than before, of Elon Musk shutting us down on Twitter, on X. I get no engagement. I've got 250,000 followers almost, but no engagements. Others are reporting the same thing. He is silencing us for Trump and putting forth all of these bots and trolls that aren't real people to convince actual MAGA that this is okay, that what is being espoused is okay. Because you're not going to get real MAGA without a little bit more. And we know this. We know this. We know that Marjorie Taylor Greene has had enough. And because she's hearing from her constituents. So the only thing we can do, again, they shut us down. The only thing we can do is everything in our power to make sure that the MAGA in our life are exposed to the truth. Because Trump isn't giving it to him. They're lying. Do you have MAGA in your life who are perfectly okay with the National Guard going in and being used against American citizens for protesting Trump? They're not burning down buildings. They're not committing violence. All of that is a lie. So your MAGA friends are being fed a lot of lies. They're even being fed fake footage. We've seen many reports of that. But this is very serious. And I don't know how we stop it except for us. Chuck Schumer is not even going to do daily briefings. As I've said, if you have these daily press briefings, a truth squad, fact checking every day, it will seep in to MAGA, to the constituents of the Republican members of Congress. And that's how we create the change. It is insane that Chuck Schumer is standing in the way of this and won't facilitate it. Absolutely insane. And no, you don't need big donors for doing it. In fact, you need no donors. What I've been talking about, you can't use donors for this. It would be a congressional function. And it is allowed. And I've laid out how to pay for it. And the fact that there are literally thousands of press situated right there in the House and Senate press galleries in the Capitol building. If you hold the briefings in the Capitol building in the same place every day, as I say, every day, a senator could give up their hideaway, or the policy and steering committees could do this, assess each congressional office a few dollars each month. You got this. The press is already there. This would be their beat. Do it. Do it. What I'm disappointed in is that Democrats are not holding Hakeem Jeffries and Schumer's feet to the fire about why this isn't being done. Are they afraid of them? These are legitimate questions. Legitimate questions. So Trump is getting away with this. He is normalizing this stuff. There might, he is normalizing this stuff. There's no Democratic pushback showing that Trump's rhetoric is dangerous, false. I mean, none. You need to ask yourselves why. And if we can't get directly to Schumer, go to your Democratic elected officials and demand and ask the point blank, why are you not calling for these briefings? These fact-checking briefings on a daily basis. Don't say they can't be done. They're too expensive, blah, blah, blah. They're not. We've debunked all that. I lay it all out. Look at my pinned tweet. All right. I've done videos on this and I wrote a piece in Day magazine. There's no excuse for it. We are this close to dictator Trump becoming murderous dictator Trump. Well, he already is. I think we may be days away from it. He wants federal troops to shoot and kill Americans protesting him and criticizing him. His rhetoric is getting ramped up daily, even more. And we sit here. So again, I'm glad that a handful of Democratic House, Senate, I think it was just House members, went, marched over to Speaker Johnson's office to demand he swear in somebody who was elected a couple weeks ago. The fact that we're in this situation where that's not even happening, they have to do more. And if we had daily briefings where every day, that was one of the things that the briefer, who I've suggested should be Pete Buttigieg, somebody with gravitas, communicator, a super staffer, not just a press secretary, but on par with what Elon Musk was to Trump. If that person stood in front of the cameras every day and made the case, took Trump on for his language, because he wants to hurt Americans, he wants to use the military to hurt Americans, took on Speaker Johnson for not swearing in an elected member of Congress, and why. Otherwise, everybody forgets about it. But that's the one thing standing between us and release of the Epstein files. So Trump seems to be trying to backfill and do all of these things so that if and when the Epstein files are released, if he can't make sure that they're falsified or scrubbed to save him, maybe that's why they need this delay. They need the delay for something. Yes, he'd rather they never be released, but do you really think that Donald Trump doesn't have some scheme in place to deal with this during the delay? I've said this before. Ask yourself in all honesty, do you think there's a line that Trump won't cross or haven't crossed? We keep hoping. The most dangerous thing we can do is think that he's just like the rest of us, but maybe just a little mean. This person is substantially more evil and dangerous than anybody we've had in American life. Yes, the comparisons to Hitler are apt. They are accurate. It is not hyperbole. And don't wait until he has the gas chambers. He already had alligator Alcatraz. Come on, folks. Don't wait until it's too late to believe this, because everything he's doing follows the same trajectory as Hitler. Everything. And the historians and people who were victims in the Holocaust or maybe survived it and lost all, they all say the same thing. So yes, I want to praise Democratic House members for marching over to Speaker Johnson's office, but maybe we can do a little bit more. Actually, we can do a lot more. We can do a lot more. But Trump very clearly, I mean, he's out and out saying it. He wants to have our military. Once you take that first shot, once he has our military, our National Guard, shoot an American protester exercising their First Amendment rights, and nobody does anything after that, maybe some strongly worded letters, he knows he's free to do whatever he wants. And so far, that's exactly what has happened. Democrats have not fought back. They might do a little bit of pushback, enough that they're comfortable with, but not enough to get the job done, not enough where it puts any of them at risk. Meanwhile, the rest of us are losing our country, our future, health care, the ability to buy food to remain healthy, our freedoms. And we are on the brink now of just rank and file anti-Trumpers like myself, half expecting them to come bust down our door and haul us away. That is what will eventually happen if our Democratic leaders don't step up in a big way. And we need to understand that. And right now, Chuck Schumer's the guy. And I don't understand why elected Democrats are not now publicly, vocally demanding that he facilitate these daily fact checking briefings from the Capitol.